So I'm going to give a quick overview of what NIM is. So I'm the CEO and the co-founder, and I actually did my PhD in AI. He did his PhD in crypto. Our powers combined. No, nothing can stop us. But Nadeem, why don't you?
Yeah, I have a mic, it's fine.
Oh, you have your mic. Just talk about yourself.
Hello, I'm the author of the critically acclaimed indie puzzle adventure game, Dr. Kabushi's Labyrinthine Laboratory for Nintendo Switch. These are my credentials. You can get a free copy of the game here. There's a Steam key on the back of these colorful cards that I made.
And also the author of an excellent Othello game,
yes.
Piccolo, which is #1 in Japan.
Yep. #1 Othello app in Japan, this is true. Anyway, I'm here, I have a background in cryptography. I'm here to talk about integrating them into software.
Yeah, so the reason I developed, was really interested in NIM is because a lot of people are very, we're all interested in blockchains and building secure applications, but if you are like observing internet traffic using a program such as Wireshark, for example, you can detect patterns in this traffic, and those patterns in the traffic basically reveal who is talking to who, right, and what they're doing. And this can be very dangerous. This can be used both for everything from simple MEV to behavior prediction to, and it works. It's a problem across the stack. It's not just a blockchain problem, right? So Signal, when you're messaging someone in Signal, the message is encrypted, but the server can kind of deduce, not directly who you're talking to, but someone even watching the server can see the packets go in, the packets go out. Same with Zcash, right? So I think I'm anonymous because I'm using Zcash, but when I do that initial peer-to-peer broadcast, I'm leaking my IP address everywhere, and people can follow those hops. And there are actually companies whose entire job is like follow those hops and figure out who broadcasts what when. And VPNs, a lot of people try to use a VPN, but VPNs do not provide anonymity in any strong sense. VPNs effectively just give you one hop, and you're centralizing all the trust away from your computer to, I don't know, predator.vpn. That's not necessarily a good thing, right? I mean, it hides your IP, but then they know everything you're doing. And Tor does not provide anonymity against a powerful adversary that can watch the entire network. So our solution to this problem is a mixnet. A mixnet solves this problem insofar as that we're similar to Tor. We have multiple hops. So each hop lets you basically, so you have one hop, which gets your IP address. You go to another hop. That hop basically hides, doesn't know your IP address. And then there's a third hop, which then you exit out the network, and they know where you're going. So this prevents the collusion between the people that when you're entering the network and you're exiting the network. Then we have cover traffic. So one of the problems when you're using Tor or VPN, let's say I turn my computer off. Let's say I'm doing something else. The traffic that comes into Tor or VPN is what's called first in, first out. And that's what produces a unique fingerprint of traffic. And we prevent that by both mixing the traffic, that obfuscates the timing, and also by adding fake traffic to the network. So that's cover traffic or dummy traffic. And the combination, interestingly enough, of mixing traffic and adding fake traffic together, that essentially breaks the ability of an adversary who can watch the entire internet like God himself from basically linking two packets together. They can't be linked together. And so this is kind of as a visual comparison. That's NIM. You can see the traffic moving around. And you can see that the traffic is mixed between these three layers of mixed nodes. That's one thing we'll be talking about setting up today is the mixed nodes. So that's your servers, a decentralized network of servers mixing the traffic up. And you can see the packets are all packaged to be the same size. So that's and they're re-randomized each hop, so you can't link the ciphertext. And you can see Tor also has 3 hops, but this kind of fingerprint of the timing and the volume information of the packets essentially remains, part of the network. In a VPN, I mean, it's a little, you're just kind of shuffling your traffic to another guy's computer and shuffling it out, and that kind of disguises your IP address. But the timing and volume information, if you're like a God's level, you have a God's IP network, you can basically track people down So we'll do a little bit of a deep dive. So how does NIM work? So remember, NIM has to take your internet traffic, bundle it up into a package such that all the packets are the same size. So you run a NIM local client on your machine, just like you run a Tor VPN client. You direct internet traffic to that client. That traffic gets made into Sphinx packets that are sent into the internet. They're sent to the mixed nodes. And where does Cosmos come into the picture? Cosmos comes into the picture because how do you know where to send the traffic to the first hop? You discover that by talking to a Cosmos blockchain. That Cosmos blockchain called Nix, which we have a validator in the house running Dokia Capital. This blockchain here is doing the world a great public service because it keeps track of all the IP addresses and the keys of the infrastructure. So the infrastructure itself is not private. The users are made private by the infrastructure. The infrastructure itself is like a public blockchain network. People have stake and they have keys, but they're not validators per se. You talk to the blockchain to discover the mixed node entry points, and then the packets come out anonymized and they go to whatever, the internet, Telegram. We have a few demo apps we can show off. So I think that's about it. We have a token. The token essentially tracks the reputation of the system. And we have a zero-knowledge credential thing, which I'm not going to talk about, but I talked about yesterday. We're not going to demo that yet. I just want people to understand, particularly if you're running a mixed node, I want you to understand like the value flow of the system. So this is, it looks really complicated, and Nadeem did his best given the flow of the diagram. But essentially, what you're always interested in is like a circle, right? So you need a circle of value where a user, they want to access the mixnet, right? So the user, they say, where's the mixnet? That's step one. They talk to the validators, that's the Nix blockchain, and they get that key and the IP address is the first layer of the mixnet. Then they talk to the gateway, that's like the entry node, if you're familiar with Tor. The gateway says, okay, cool, I'm gonna hide your IP address. Some people who are very paranoid can hide their IP address behind their own gateway. The gateway then sends you, the gateway checks to make sure everything's okay with the mixnet. Assuming everything's okay, they ship you into the mixnet, and then you can access your services. Now, how Value works is that we're going to launch a VPN at the end of the year. And this is a little bit of alpha for everyone in the room. And what will happen is in step one, you will pay for the VPN using a credit card, Bitcoin, Atom, however the hell you want to pay. We don't care. We'll have a money transmitter to handle all of that. But we don't want, and then when you do that payment, your payment, we don't want you to if you're using an anonymous network, you don't want to dox yourself by paying for it. So you get essentially a zero knowledge proof of payment, which is re-randomizable, unlinkable to your actual transactions. You get that zero knowledge proof of payment from the validators, the Cosmos validators. You show that zero knowledge proof to the gateway in step two. Gateway in step three checks that zero knowledge proof of payment. They say, oh yeah, cool, he's paid or he hasn't paid. If you have paid, then it lets you into the network. This mixed node, mixes all your traffic up, cool stuff happens. And then, where are we in step four? So you're going out of the mixnet in step five. And then in step 6 and 7, the payment gets distributed to the people running apps on the network, that's step 6, and to the mixed nodes themselves. That's step 7. So I hope I kind of explained that confusing diagram. Now, a lot of people may not want to pay for the mixnet, but that doesn't mean they don't want to use it. So how do we enable that? That's this mysterious step here, which is optional, therefore dotted. And that's basically like, the way to think about the payment, the zero knowledge payment, is just a certificate. It's like an entry pass showing you've paid for the mixnet. And someone can buy that for you, right? So let's say I'm running Brave, or I'm running Signal, or I'm running Zcash, and I don't want to pay. I believe the mixnet provides value to my user. So Zcash, for example, ECC, wants to enable this for all Zcash transactions. Aztec is working on enabling it for Aztec. They can buy the bandwidth. They can say, Zcash, will buy 100K of bandwidth. Zcash transactions actually aren't that big compared to a VPN or something. and they buy that, and they can give that to the users, and their users can then show that without knowing about it whenever they just turn the software on. So we don't force users to like buy tokens to use the software. Someone buys them, and then ideally a zero-knowledge proof of the token purchase is embedded within the software as a kind of certificate. We think that's a little bit, because that provides a much smoother user experience, so the user is not like using MetaMask and Kepler and trying to figure everything out on the fly. But power users can do that as well, so we enable all of that. Right now, because the Mixnet is not overloaded with traffic, it's just free. Everyone is paid from inflation, right? So that's where we're at now. So when we'll get your Mixnodes going, you'll be able to see that inflationary, you'll get your rewards from the inflation, not from user payments. Okay.
Cool. Got a microphone here.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So yeah, and one point to keep in mind, I think, is that one problem that is solved by all of this is the incentivization of mixed nodes. So because NIM is tied to blockchain stuff, mixed nodes are measured through this economic system to see basically how much is staked, how many tokens are staked in every mixed node. And also there's independent bandwidth measurement and network quality measurement to measure that mixed node's ability to route stuff across the network. And based on that, the mixed node gets rewarded in tokens. So if I run a mixed node, I am being financially rewarded, incentivized to continue running a mixed node, which makes it sustainable for this sort of decentralized system to exist. So that's why we have the Nix blockchain to maintain that sort of thing. That's why NIM is using Cosmos. So basically, the Nix blockchain is the blockchain that we have set up for NIM. It recently, it's going to start allowing users to code their own smart contracts and launch them as part of the, having applications that are built on NIM inside the chain itself. But mainly the way that we're centrally using it is to run two big main contracts. There's the MixNet contract, which is basically the contract that tracks all the nodes, how much is staked in each node, and the current status of the nodes, who owns the nodes, and so on. And so it keeps a smart contract-based, decentralized, validated sort of tracking of the entire network, which is a cool way to have the authentication and integrity properties of smart contract technology help with anonymous internet routing and mixed networking. And there's also the vesting contract, which just handles vesting functionality. All of this stuff is built using CosmWasm, which is this thing that lets you write Cosmos smart contracts in Rust, compile them to WebAssembly, and deploy them. So that's actually not what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be focusing more on integrating. We're going to be focusing on two things. So the practical, I'm supposed to give the practical aspect of this workshop. We got two practical things. And actually raise your hands depending on which one interests you the most. So we have like how to set up your own mixed node, how does that work, getting a mixed node running on a server, getting a wallet running. And we also have like a sort of small dive into the NIM SDKs themselves. We have a NIM SDK in TypeScript and one in Rust. So we're going to look at how easy it is to integrate NIM into a chat application. For example, look at the test code in TypeScript. So who's more interested in the mixed node stuff? Please raise your hand. Okay. Who's more interested in the TypeScript stuff? Please raise your hand.
We'll do both.
Yeah, we'll do both. There seems to be a very equal level of interest here, rather. So we'll do both. I'll start with the MixNet thing because it's simpler. Anyway, so basically, is it worth it to go through this thing? I mean, yes.
I would explain it a little bit, otherwise it is a little confusing. People
Sure.
don't understand what's going on the wall.
So basically, in the future, you'll get bandwidth credentials, like you'll basically pay to use the NIM service using NIM tokens. Right now, as Harry explained, it's free. Optionally, let's say, for example, I'm the owner of Signal, or I'm Pavel Durov, the owner of Telegram, right? I could run my own NIM service provider to give NIM support to all my users, and then I pay for NIM. So it's possible that Telegram will make NIM free to use to everyone, or if I want to use NIM with whatever I want, then I pay for it. But anyway, NIM is free right now. The idea is that you pay for NIM using NIM tokens, whether you're a service provider or a user, but you also, like I mentioned earlier, earn NIM tokens by being part of the MixNet as well. So there's a staking mechanism going on there, but it's not just proof of stake. It's also like, do we have a term for that, Harry? Like proof of network, proof of performance.
We have a proof of mixing is what we like.
Proof of mixing, right?
But right now it's a hybrid scheme. So some of it's proof of your performance mixed with how many people have delegated their stake to you or how much stake you have. So it's kind of like a hybrid proof of stake, proof of performance network. So you can.
I'll show an example.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but it makes sense.
Right. So in terms of the software, I just wanted to like show off the fact that we have a really nice wallet, I think, for desktop that we started building recently, and it's still in early stages, but it works great, and we're building more features into it. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. It's the NIM wallet. What I really like about the NIM wallet is that it allows you to manage your mix nodes through the wallet user interface itself, which is like you don't have to use the command line at all. You have to use the command line to set up the node, but after that you can like manage it and like check how much staking is going on. You can even like change settings from your wallet. I think that's really nice. So you can also obviously send and receive NIM, or you can even buy NIM using Bitcoin directly from the wallet itself, which is also really nice. So it's a fairly nice and useful wallet client for users. In the future, we're going to have cool tech like ZK NIMs, where validators transform fungible NIM tokens into. I don't actually understand what ZK NIM is myself personally.
I explained it earlier. That's the zero knowledge proof of payment.
Oh right. Yes, of course. So I'm new. I started like a month ago, and I'm more focused on integration. Anyway, so let's show off, do a quick demo of the wallet and mix node stuff. I recently set up my own NIM mix node just as a way to get familiar with the technology, and I found it very easy to set up. So I think that's cool. Here, this is the NIM documentation website, nimtech.net/docs/nodes/mixnode setup, or you can just probably Google like NIM mixnode setup. So basically, the NIM mixnode software is written in Rust, and you just like either install it using Cargo probably, or you can just download, fork the code base, download the code base, clone rather the code base, and compile it. It compiles pretty quickly, and you get this binary that you run. So the first thing that you want to do, well, actually, you know what? Before I get into setting up the mix node, let me just show you what it looks like. So this is my mix node. It's running on the this is like the Explorer. You can see what is going on with the mix nodes on the Explorer here. So this is my wallet. It's the owner of the mix node. This is the mix node's identity key. This is how it's identified cryptographically on the network. And this is the amount of, let me just make that bigger. Yeah, so this is the amount of NIM token that is staked in the mix node. We have something called stake saturation here, which is basically a way to discourage everyone with NIM tokens from staking in the biggest mix node, right? So like everyone's going to look, which mix node has the most tokens? That's the best one, quote unquote, right? And so they put more tokens in that mix node, and then there's one mix node with half the tokens, and no one else has any tokens. So stake saturation discourages this, because if we look at some of the other mix nodes here, so my mix node was set up like a week ago, doesn't have any tokens, but like it has 6,000, which is a lot, but still like nothing compared to this guy, for example, has 1.5 million tokens. So these guys have a very high stake saturation rating, which is that, like basically right now, if I invest if I stake my NIM in them, I'm going to get relatively much less rewards, right, than if I stake in someone else like this guy over here who has no stake saturation at all, because I don't have any tokens. But
so as soon as the stake saturation hits 100%,
the reward rate decreases, basically.
It's not like you stop making rewards, but more stake doesn't increase the rewards.
Right.
So that helps keep the network decentralized. So we can say we want 600 nodes with maximum stake saturation, and so we're trying to avoid like the rich get richer phenomenon that you see in a lot of proof of stake systems.
Yeah. So you can see, I don't know where the node is located. I put mine in Japan for no reason, just cool Japan node. And so as you can see, my node is making tons of money right now.
Show someone else's.
Yeah, I should show like a cool node. So wow, look at that! Ooh, this node is making so many tokens. So this node is making 21 NIM an hour, which is about $4.50 an hour, which is about $108 a day. That's nice. This is the amount that the operator of the node is getting, which is very small relatively. That's because that's the amount that the operator themselves have staked in the node. and the rest, like is staked by other people, right? So the bond percentage. So when when the person running the node stakes in the node, we call that the bond. So the bond percentage is only 2%, 2.28%, and the rest are just random people on the NIM network staking their tokens. So like Harry mentioned earlier, when we talk about NIM mixnet nodes, you'll notice that this node status is called active. So this is an active node, and my node is inactive. What does that mean? So basically every hour, every epoch, which is an hour, the NIM smart contract, the NIM network rather as a whole, will look at all the mixed nodes and select 240 nodes to be part of the active set. So only 240 of all mixed nodes will actually be mixing traffic in that hour. And then the next hour we'll select another 240 at random, but not really at random, because what we're doing is we're using a formula to decide which mixed nodes get selected. It's random, but it's highly influenced by two things. First of all, your routing score, which is basically how good is your node at routing mixed net traffic. Does it have good bandwidth? Is it dropping packets? Is it reliable? And also, how much is staked in your mixed node. So if you have a lot of stake and your routing score is high, your active set probability is going to be high. If you have, my routing score is actually pretty good, 93%. But I don't have a lot of tokens, so staked rather in the mixed node. So my active set probability is low. My mixed node is like active in the active set maybe like 2 hours a day or something. This one is active all the time. So personally, I think we should not require nodes to invest a bajillion tokens to be part of the active set more, because that I think discourages participation from people that just want to help out. And we're looking into it. So please don't worry, this is like an issue that we're aware of. You shouldn't need to stake like $1,000 to be part of the active set.
We have a delegator staking program as well, so that new nodes that come in that show essentially good behavior, the kind of DAO-like treasury can stake to them.
Yeah.
It kind of helps them kind of get into the active set.
So when you set up a node, you guys know like Linode, Hetzner, those VPS services. So that's what I did. Like I went to Linode, I got a Linode set up. And I downloaded and compiled it in a mixed node. And so basically you initialize it using the command line, very easy to initialize. And then you specify your own NIM wallet address. Oh, it's causing feedback.
Sorry.
So then you specify your own NIM wallet address. So here's my NIM wallet. And then, like I said earlier, I can manage the NIM node from my wallet itself. So first I need to bond the mixed node to my wallet. And then I can't show you this right now because it's already bonded, but it's very simple. There's like a big bond button, and you can figure it out. And then my node will show up. And I can see, like, for example, I bonded almost 2,000 NIM, but some other people have put NIM as well, so the stake is actually much higher. This is the percentage of node rewards that I'll get as the node operator. So each node is free to set up a percentage of rewards that it wants for itself. And this is decided entirely by the node operator. I can decide that I want 100% of the profits, but then no one will stake with me, right? So there's a competitive element there, of course. You can see your current routing score. You can manage your node settings. And you can use, I like this feature. It's called Node Playground. I can see, I can like run estimates like, okay, right now, my stake saturation is, let's say like 5,000 delegated. So my stake saturation is 1% and my selection probability is low. But if I change these numbers, like maybe I'm wondering how much do I need to bond to get a high probability? So what if I bond 20,000 NIM? Still low. Wow, okay. Sheesh. What if I bond 50,000 NIM? It's good now. And the stake saturation gets higher, of course. If I bond 100,000 NIM, it's probably going to be even better. 1 million, no, so high. Okay, but the stake saturation is now all over the place. And I can also like change things like the profit margin and operator costs. I wonder if the profit margin actually affects this stuff. I don't even know.
I don't think so.
It doesn't. Okay, well, whatever. But you can see like other numbers change as well based on that. So that's nice. And you can also buy NIM from here. You can send and receive NIM and so on. Oh, in order to launch a NIM mixed node, to bond it to your wallet, you need 100 NIM, which is not a lot. I think it's like $20 or something, like $10.
And if you stay here, we will send it to you if you're working.
Yeah,
with
if you want to set up a mixed node, we will
Well,
send you 100 NIM so you can set up your mixed node, so no worries. That's the only reason why my NIM balance is so high, so I can, can give NIM to people. I don't really own that much NIM. Yeah, that's basically mixed nodes. You set it up using your server here, and you can run the command and so on. It's really very easy to set up. So you know what, maybe we'll do that later. But first, let me just give a similar overview of NIM integration into applications. That way I'll have like briefly explained mixed networks and mixed nodes and briefly explained SDK integration. And that way we can then dive into things that people think are interesting, having also like given a high level overview.
So we have till 1:30, so you can, we will be here. We'll be happy. Like you can leave, eat, come back. We'll help you set up your mixed node, help you integrate into apps. It's all pretty straightforward.
So yeah, after these brief overviews, if you want to leave like and only come back for the things that you're interested in or stay or whatever, so like I think that's fair, especially given that there's lunch now. So let's talk more about the integration SDK stuff. So we have two NIM SDKs. One of them is written in Rust, and one of them is written in TypeScript. And the point of the NIM SDK is to make it as easy as possible for you to integrate NIM into your software. Say you built a messaging app, a chat app, or a wallet. I spoke earlier with people that came to the NIM stand and said that they're building their own wallet and they wanted to integrate them into the wallet. So that's great. That's exactly what we built this stuff for. Most likely, I don't know what their wallet is built with, but most likely they'll be using the TypeScript SDK. So the idea is that we want to abstract away the complexity of building, of integrating them into your stack as much as possible, make it really simple and easy. Let me give a demo of that. So if you go to the NIM GitHub repository, you'll see that there's a bunch of SDK demos. And I've selected one of them to show off over here. So this one, let me just make the font bigger. Also change the color. There. OK, so this one is the React Webpack with theme example. So just like it's basically how to integrate NIM into a regular, very simple React web application, which is something that a lot of people use. So let's start off the example here, over here. OK. No, it's still starting up. OK. So it's going to open up this example service on my local network. Oh, there it is. Great. So this is an example app that uses React, TypeScript, Webpack, and the NIM theme with the WebAssembly MixNet client. So the NIM client, the SDK, the TypeScript SDK, uses or provides an interface, a JavaScript interface for the NIM client, which is shipped along with the TypeScript SDK as a WebAssembly binary. We use WebAssembly for two reasons. First, it allows us to compile directly from Rust. And second, it's better performance and cool and better stack for something like a mixed node client. And it communicates using WebSockets. So this is like a very simple app that I have over here. Hey, what would be cool is to get someone else to run it, actually, but we probably should do that later. I'm just going to run it myself twice. Do I even? I was going to use the same port, though.
Yeah, I don't know if, I mean, it's on localhost, so how can I talk to you?
Yeah. I'll just run another example, because I have another one that can work. Yeah. Or no, it won't. It will do, well. Yeah, maybe I can run it. If someone can run it real quick. But anyway, the point is that, so this is, it's fine. I can send to my own address. This is what I did earlier anyway. So this is my NIM client address that was generated by this example. So I'm going to send myself a message. Hello, what's up? I am Nadim. OK, so there you go. Sent across the mixed network. So you can you can easily chat over NIM. Hooray. So this is, as you can see, a very simple app. Let's look at how involved the effort was to integrate NIM into this application. Let me again fix my font size here. Oops, too big. OK. So I'm loading the bunch of things from the NIM project SDK over here. This is in TypeScript, TSX rather, which is the React TypeScript thing. And then here, I'm creating the NIM MixNet client, and then I'm subscribing to this address. And then over here I have this utility functionality for starting the client based on a past NIM client configuration that has the client ID, the API URL, optional preferred gateway key if I want to use a particular gateway, and basically that's it. And here I have a very easy to use API for sending messages over NIM. Just specify the recipient and the payload. And also I can set up an event handler for receiving messages over NIM. Is that over here actually? Oh, that's actually, that does that. So, and yeah, that's basically all it takes. There are some things that we're still working out. So, for example, service providers. Basically, there's this component called service providers that is specific to each service on NIM, and that's something that needs to be written by hand currently. It's not particularly great. We're looking to have a more sort of institutionalized and well-specified practice for that. But as you can see, like setting up something like NIM to be used in something like a chat app is pretty straightforward. And the idea here is that you can use it for stuff like sending, I don't know, wallet transactions, chat messages. If you have any kind of other application like file transfer or anything like that, that uses, that can benefit from online anonymous technology. Let me see if I can find like a photo that I can send here. I don't know. Do I have a photo somewhere on my computer?
It's in your passport.
I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, There. Look at all these cute kitties. So, which one is the cutest one? This is a very cute one. Okay. So I'm going to save this one. Aptly named kitten development. Okay. Cute cat. Let's see how long it takes. There. That was pretty fast, actually. That's pretty fast.
Yeah, we don't have any delays turned on, I think, on your machine.
Cool. So there you go. Wow, look at that. Anonymously sent through the mixed network. How private is that? Look at that. So private. What an amazing technology. Incredible. Okay. So yeah, that's basically it. What are you guys, let's do like deep dives into things that people are interested in doing. Who's interested? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just want to know which nodes makes you most money.
The nodes that are mixing the most traffic and have most tokens staked in them. So in order to make the most money, you basically need two things. You need to be part of the active set more, and you need, you need one thing. You need to be often part of the active set. And then once you're part of the active set, which is based on the routing score, how well your node actually mixes traffic and provides network, the quality of network provided, you need to look at how many tokens are staked. So the more tokens are staked in your network, the more your network will make per epoch.
Stake doesn't necessarily mean you make more, because you make, let's say there are two nodes staking 1 million each, and you're staked in one 5% and another 10%, and with 10% you get more, right?
Well, yes, generally you will get more in the 10%.
What is your stake percentage to calculate?
Right, but there are some refinements to that statement. So yes, you will earn more with the 10% one, but you also need to look at things like, I mentioned earlier, the stake saturation. So the stake saturation is to basically discourage everyone staking their tokens in the biggest nodes with the most tokens staked, because if we do that, everyone will stake, if we don't do that, everyone will stake in the biggest mixed node, and then you'll have one mixed node with all the tokens and the other mixed node have no tokens. So if the stake saturation goes above 100%, the amount of rewards will actually start dropping, or not increasing, right? So this incentivizes you to stake in the nodes with the least stake saturation. So if you stake your 10% in a node that has like 200% stake saturation, and you stake your 5% in a node that has 1% stake saturation, it might be the case, depending on the I don't know, the average routing score, the amount staked, and so on, that your 5% node will actually make more returns for you.
Believe it or not, so this is very non-standard for Cosmos. This stuff is all built in the CosmWasm smart contract.
So who's interested in setting up a node? Great.
Sarinko, can you raise your hand? Because he's going to help people set up nodes.
I can help people set up nodes, yeah.
If you're interested in setting up a node, aside from getting a bunch of NIM tokens to help you do that, you will also get a free copy of the critically acclaimed puzzle game, Dr. Kabushi's Labyrinthine Laboratory for Nintendo Switch. This is a funny joke because I made a video game for Switch and I want people to play it. So you can come get this card has the Steam key for the game on the back. So yeah. All right, so who's, please raise your hands again.
I think,
If you wanna
okay,
set
so
up a
I think,
mix node. Wow, cool, awesome, great. So who wants to set up a mixed node again? Please raise your hands.
I think there's like, I think maybe putting the mixed node people in this corner and maybe the devs over here.
Yeah, so why don't all the mixed node people, if you would be so kind, move to this side of the room if that's okay with you? And that way you're closer to one another and it's easier for Sarenko to actually like see who's working on what. And then in a moment, after I give instructions to the MixNet folks, we'll start maybe looking more at the SDK aspect. So for the MixNet folks, you're all familiar with like the command line and stuff like that? Can you start a Linux VPS, like a small Linux server somewhere on like OVH or Linode or Amazon Web Services or Azure or Google Cloud or Hetzner or anything like that? So the first step will be to set up your own like Linux server, right? Once you set up your Linux server, you'll get the mixed node running. Oh, that's a good question. And by the way, the documentation for running the mixed node is right here. So this explains everything. You should definitely open this.
You're gonna go first through the documentation of building the platform.
Here, hold on.
It's also on top of there's a link on top.
Yeah, wait. Just gonna.
If you go to nimtech/docs, you see all the documentation for all the various components.
There.
There we go.
Open this URL. Oh, and here's the Wi-Fi information. Hold on. Damn it. So the Wi-Fi network is called Neutron Hackers Lounge, I think, and the password is Gateway 2023. And these are the MixNet docs.
So we have the room to 1:30, so if you want to take a lunch break, you can take a lunch break, come back, we'll be setting up nodes, and if you have an app you want to integrate against them, honestly, like integrating against them is pretty, it's like, I don't think people realize how amazing this is. It's like running Tor or VPN in a browser, right? We can run it all, I mean, that's, to my knowledge, no one has done that yet. We're the first.
I think we might be. The
Yeah, I
Tor has something called Snowflake, which is kind of similar.
Similar, but it's only
Yeah.
for entry.
Yeah,
and
it's
time
yeah,
and stuff.
it's
a
not really the same.
browser plugin,
It's
if I
that's
remember
not as full featured at all. No.
Yeah, so we can give you full featured NIM access inside of any JavaScript app or even a web browser, a web app, which is pretty crazy. So that's a whole new thing.
All right. So for the MixNet folks, are you okay with the first step of setting up a Linux server? So just whatever $5 box, it doesn't really matter.
Here's a question of what are
Yes.
the requirements. If you go to the web page, which is
The
which
web
is over
page.
there, you
This
see on
web
top
page.
is building name link. Go first there and build the platform first of all. That platform will give you a whole lot of things, but one of them will be the mixed node setup itself. So you want to go to the link which is
I think it's the build link.
building name on top.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yes.
You gotta do that first.
Yeah, you have to build them obviously. Here, it's very easy. Don't be
So you gotta do
afraid.
it first. There's only a few commands, but if you wanna also take a break, I would suggest you start building that, and once you get to the Rust compiler, you ask somebody to look over your computer and you can go for lunch because that's gonna take like 20 minutes if you don't have.
You can also
No.
compile from GitHub.
It takes like 5 minutes.
Precompiled.
You can.
Yeah, there are pre-compiled binaries.
Yeah, there are precompiled binaries, yeah.
I think they're up to date, to be honest.
They are up to date.
Okay.
So the precompiled binaries are available here on nimtech.net/download.
Also, go up.
They're up to date, yes. However, they're only available for Ubuntu Linux, which should work on most Linux, I think.
That's gonna go for an.
It's
No.
works best in Ubuntu 2004 actually.
Yeah,
Because
well,
of libSSL requirements.
because of their shared libraries. Their libraries are not static.
Go back one.
Yeah.
Go to the NIM wallet now. So another thing you can do if you have your computer on you, go to NIM wallet.
But if you go
So everyone in this workshop, by virtue of attending, has qualified for some free NIM.
Hooray.
Yay! So if you download the wallet, we can send it to you. You have to talk to Nadeem. But
If you download the wallet and set up a
click
mix
the download
node,
button, click the download button so they can see how easy it is. So even
Wow.
if you don't have Linux, the
Yeah, it
wallet
works on
actually
Mac.
works on Windows, Ubuntu, and Mac OS, right? So we have the whole, so just whatever you happen to run. I'm sorry it doesn't work on mobile yet, but it's maybe somewhat dangerous to run a database system from your mobile device. But if you have a laptop with your video stored, please install the NIM wallet and we can get you enough NIM so that, to be honest, the setup of the mix node is pretty easy, but as several people have noticed, it's getting the NIM token is often the hardest part.
well, you need to have an account with what's it called, an exchange.
Like Kraken, or, we're not on Binance yet, but how many people here have Kraken accounts? Okay, so you
Then
guys,
that's
easy
easy.
to get NIM tokens. Otherwise, it's a little tricky unless you happen to have like an OKX account or something.
Well, that's not true, actually. If you have Bitcoin, you can exchange Bitcoin to NIM immediately within the NIM wallet itself.
Within the wallet, exactly.
Yeah, it's actually really, it works great. I've tried it. There.
Yeah. But if, we can also just give you some just so you get your demo, get it mixed up and running, you see how it works. So, yeah, but you can just buy it as well. It's a little complicated, but it's not that bad. Perhaps you said easier than Kraken.
Yeah.
Oui, I'm sure an osmosis.
Say again?
Why it's not an osmosis? Like it's an ABC token now?
Is it on osmosis?
Yes, it's a Cosmos token.
Yeah, so why it's not on like osmosis or...
Yeah, that's a good question. One day it should be, if someone would like to put something on Cosmos.
Elles sont frontières.
You should see the pool.
Yeah, yeah. Someone wants to, I'm an American, by the way. I'm not gonna say anything, but other people.
So you didn't claim the airdrop of Nitron?
Say again?
You didn't claim the Nitron airdrop?
No, we did not do Osmos. So right now, the easiest way to get a token probably is through the wallet itself. It's pretty straightforward.
All right. So you'll deal with the people setting up the.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Maybe if you just want to deal with the devs directly, we can parallelize the process.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll just start talking about the TypeScript SCA model.
You want me to get you some food? I can go out.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll just eat later.
Well, the food, they take it away.
Okay. I'm gonna go for 2 minutes, get something, and come back.
So we're gonna take it away in 2 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, do you want me to get you something? I'll get you something. It's all, everyone gets the same food. Not meat. Meat, okay.
This goes to us, just
Just me.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, the thing with NIM is like pretty simple, to be honest. Thanks for coming. If you want to set your mix node up.
there's
Yeah, you
you
can
know,
change
there's-
the name for target reserve.
no, here. I understand this is
Yeah, alt is fine. You should do the size because maybe if you put like 100, it's going to be versus 100.
okay.
Yeah, it's per month, so service you can leave for that. Yeah, you can tell. That's fine. You get them for default.
There's a thing that I didn't forget to say that as you're gonna be running the mix node, it's preferred to running on some VPS, right? You can do it locally, but then check out this troubleshooting in documentation. It's under number 7, and if you scroll down on running on a local machine behind NAT with no fixed IP address, and get a read to these 3 paragraphs on how to check that out. So, how to check out that you can have IP version 6, IPv6. Otherwise, it's not gonna work on a locally set up machine. It was a good question coming from over there.
Or we can use it later, so great.
Are there any specific requirements to the machine that we need?
The requirements are actually quite low. They are listed in building the platform in
Is it important to have the public IP address? Like that will be your.
yes, you have to have public IP address. And when we were before in a building, I don't want to go now from this troubleshooting. But when we are in a building on top, the requirements are written there. It's pretty like most of the machines will do so.
And after I have questions about the firewall, is it necessary to open some ports that will be reachable from the internet?
There is down on a mix node page. When you scroll down, there is also the firewall comments on that.
Yeah, and after to allow GCP.
I listed that because there is a problem when you run it on a local machine with the IP. I kind of also didn't come to my mind and like made the same mistake, similar mistake.
I muted it. Okay.
Is there a Docker image? Public? Is there a public Docker image for the mixnet?
A public Docker image for the mixnet? Probably. I don't know. It sounds like we should have something like that.
Public what?
A Docker image for the mixnet.
I'm not sure either.
If we don't have that, we should, honestly. Ask Carrie, but yeah. Yeah, so obviously you can't run it's much harder to run it behind the NAT, so don't run it on your laptop, just run it on a server. Also, there's no point in running it on your laptop because you need something connected to the internet all the time and with a good network connection because it's basically going to be like a server. It's going to be mixing packets. Otherwise, if you just run it on a laptop for an hour a day or something, your routing score will be extremely low and you will never become part of the active set, and so there's no point, right? Anyway, let's talk about the SDK. Where's the SDK? There. So, did all the people who are interested in the SDK leave, or?
Also, I would like to ask, because our crypto wallet is written in C#
Okay.
Is there a way to access name from C#?
Yes. So, Harry, do we have a Docker image of the NIM mixnet?
No, I don't think we do.
We should.
We should fucking make a Docker image.
We should. That's like really obviously a thing we should do.
That's,
Okay.
that's ridiculous. We don't have. Thanks for whoever brought that up. We should
This
have a
guy.
Docker image.
Right up.
Okay, we should make a Docker image.
Yeah.
Do you need food or not?
What is that?
It's.
No, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay.
Got a like piece of bread.
Do you want me? I brought one to begin with.
So, to answer your question, yes, you can run the NIM client, the NIM SDK client, even if you have an app written in C#. And the way that you do that is you include a Rust binary, and then you have to write a layer in C# that makes binary calls. So, and then you have to like ship the correct binary for the architecture that you're shipping the C# app for, like the Mac client, Mac, Windows, etc.
I use it. You're looking for the company. I use Linode. Yeah, me too. Ah, okay.
Yes. This is my email.
Something that we're using on a cache is crazy. I've never tried.
So send me the code.
Yeah, it's cheaper as well.
One CPU, 1 gig, is another to the customer, money to the customer, right now?
Yeah. But what I said is so we do use multiple
So-
CPUs, but the main thing that determines network quality, the network that when you give rewards is your network kind of like uptime, so and your bandwidth.
You can do it with the machine, but your score
Let me
will
see
be
the options.
real bad if you don't run all the time.
Obviously, honestly, like
We support the networking meters because.
yeah, the network has to be meters. You gotta look at the bandwidth. But we're not gonna get above 2 right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think honestly it depends like how you if you were very honestly just I would you expand them later I would get
So what should we do for the SDK? What should we do for the SDK? What are people interested in? Should we look at the TypeScript stuff, the Rust stuff?
I think that should be the
Let's go ahead.
If there's no clear direction, I won't do anything. How's it going over here?
quite well. These guys have VPS set up. There's 3 or 4 people on it. Does anyone have a wallet set up that they would like us to send into?
I have,
Email me your NIM.
I think I don't need that, I already have tokens. I have them from the testnet participation zone.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, you don't have.
If you need a NIM, if you need a bunch of NIM tokens to set up your Mixnode, please send me an email with your NIM native wallet address.
That's the thing that your wallet is in.
You can get a wallet by downloading NIM wallet for your computer and just opening it and setting up a wallet. This is my email. It's right here. So just send me an email and I'll send with your wallet address and I'll send you some tokens so you can bond to your NIM.
Mainnet, yes, everyone, mainnet. We go to real stuff.
Yeah, everything is mainnet.
I mean, you can set up on testnet. There's a testnet faucet. Why not make that? It's cool.
The faucet's not working.
But if the faucet not returns me, turn the faucet off.
No one wants a free copy of Dr. Kabushi's Life and Love?
Yeah, we should have.
I'm making a story
Well, this is for Steam actually. But it's also available on Steam.
and the net cluster, so I will just.
look at the video game Bring Joy.
Joy, yes.
We are laughing at the Windows icon.
Joy. That's meant as a joke.
Probably I stole something.
No, I'm sure it's just like the rest issue.
Yeah, that's why I spoke with the last one.
Okay, cool. I got the emails for the.
What do you have?
Right now, super fine.
Oh, if you want to have, hold on. If you want to have tokens so that you can bind them to, you can bind a mixed node to your wallet, please send me an email with your wallet address, and I'll send you 100 NIM tokens, which is the amount that you need to get started with a NIM mixed node. Yes. Okay.
I'm sure it's like.
Yeah, I have it there from somewhere.
Yeah, this is a ridiculous.
So I'm just gonna turn off the display for a second so I can just send a bunch of tokens.
Oh, you have to install GCC. Yeah, so install GCC, do the sudo apt-get or whatever GCC.
Sorry? Oh, it's Nadim at nimtech.net.
NADIM, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that one. Yeah, I brought too many.
LinkedIn?
Yes. nimtech.net. Okay, I'm sending everyone who sent me an email NIM tokens, so you should get them immediately. Yes, it's Nadim at nimtech.net. NADIM at nimtech.net. Yes.
Nadim, you send people 101 now
Oh, okay.
because they need the one NIM for the transaction.
Sure. Okay. All right. Yes, please. If you're asking for tokens, you better be using those to set up nodes, okay? What's up?
Just to clarify my understanding, so for example, I have MetaMask, right?
Okay.
And I have everything going from my MetaMask to Infura, right?
Okay.
So does having Mixnet somewhere in the middle
Yes.
help, or does MetaMask have to integrate Mixnet into it? Or can I just route everything through Mixnet? Like, how does it work?
So basically, we would need to route the calls to Infura through a mixnet.
Okay.
Yep.
Does someone do that, or like?
It goes through the mixnet. We integrate NIM into MetaMask, and then it goes through the mixnet. I've been working on integrating them into MetaMask for like a month. It's a giant headache. But yeah, like basic.
Want to do it, or what?
Oh, I really don't want to do it. It's like horrible, but I have to. But, yeah, me personally. But like, so yeah, like it's actually pretty complicated because you have to sign transactions and then send them through Infura. So like, you have to find the right place to integrate NIM.
Okay, so I want to discuss the Infura issue. This is an interesting one. So if there's two ways to use the mixnet with Infura, there's three. So
what is this?
one is you wait for the team to finish the integration, and then you can talk to Infura directly over NIM. Or could you Google?
I can't show my screen right now because I'm sending tokens.
Okay, I'm sorry. When he's done sending everyone the tokens, we will shoot. Oh, sorry. I mean, it's not. When there's three ways to fix the problem. The first way, the most ambitious one, is to integrate NIM directly into MetaMask, which is what he's working on, and hopefully we'll get that launched pretty soon. Which is nice because then you can just flip a button on MetaMask and Infura doesn't get all your IP transactions, don't know who you are. Another way is to switch RPC providers. So there is an RPC provider that supports NIM out the box. It's, if you Google No Trust Verify, MetaMask, NIM, something like that, you'll get a web page, which we'll show you in a minute, which shows you. So rather than like use Infura, use another RPC node that has NIM already working on it. So that's another, it's a little bit easier. Now, if you're really paranoid, you're like, I want to run my own RPC node. Andreessen Horowitz, one of our backers, for better or for worse, has, I think better, they're actually great people. They have a software called Helios. Helios lets you run your own RPC node locally, which is pretty cool. What? Yeah, the light client version. And so we have a NIM integration against Helios as well, but it's, you have to go to like our GitHub to find it. We haven't really advertised it very well because, I don't know, we were waiting for a good time to, it's not quite like, it works. You can clone our GitHub and like, it will work, but we don't have like good docs for it yet. So there's three ways to solve the problem. I honestly think the easiest way to solve the MetaMask problem now is just not to use Infura. to go to pick another RPC node. But, you know, give us like another month, we'll have a native integration, and if you wait, if you want to run your own RPC node, well, we can have docs for that out within about a month as well. So.
Yep. I'm done sending them to everyone, so you should.
Why don't we show them the web page for the MetaMask stuff? That's it. Everyone's aware of that problem. So I think
MetaMask?
Google, not your thing, but the Google MetaMask, NIM, No Trust Verify. Okay, and
This?
not that. That's how to transfer the tokens. Use the mixed-up receipt. That's very bad, very fringe title. Okay, so
Let me just,
if you could just share the
enable-
screen
yeah,
really
yeah.
quickly. So for anyone that wants to use, for anyone that wants to use NIM with MetaMask, we didn't invent this, by the way. One of our community members invented it, which is pretty awesome. You have to go to this incredibly badly titled but wonderful webpage called Using the Mixnet for Pacific Domains, and you can see it walks through the MetaMask and NIM issues and how you can use.
Just Google this title.
Yeah, just literally, I know we need to have a better title, but Google that title, and that title shows you how to use NIM with MetaMask today.
All right, so we have 5 more minutes, actually, for the room. We're supposed to leave at 1:10.
But we can continue helping people at our wonderful booth.
Yeah, we have. Oh yeah, we have a booth.
We have a booth. You can get free stuff. We have notebooks, stickers, and we can help set up your mixed note. But before we leave, does everyone that has an wallet, did everyone email the game for them now?
Oh, I think I missed one email. Hold on.
Yeah, I just sent you an email.
Yep. Okay. Oh, this is the last one, I guess.
And send them 105 as a transaction.
I'm sending 105.
What's the email?
Here it is. This is the email.
How much you want to do?
I think it's like
20 cents?
20 cents. You should stake in my cool mix node. Wow. R6.
So you want to build it on
Sorry, what?
I didn't receive the data.
Oh,
It
okay.
take time to send?
No, it doesn't take time. Hold on 1 second. What's your address?
Pecuniano.
So 1 second. What's your name?
Nicolò, but my email address is pecuniano@proton.com.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
let
the
me.
correct address? Cioè, is the correct address.
Okay, let me just double check.
neither, but with that bit of
Yeah, I did send it. This is the transaction over here. So just send you the transaction. Oops. Just send you the.
So in the Explorer also, if you put my address is visible in this store because at least do I need to do anything in the wallet because it's installed and running in my
Just maybe try closing the wallet and opening it again.
Okay.
everyone, a lot of people have asked me, I'm getting my NIM node working. I do not have 300K in the active set. What can I do? That's a very reason. Let me just finish that and we'll get going. So for everyone who would like to run a mixed node and are like, how much money do I make? And how much money you make depends on if your node is active. And right now we only need 240 nodes in the network and we have 600. So you're not active every hour. You're active every few hours. If you want to be active more often, you should Google NIM or DuckDuckGo if you prefer. NIM Delegator Rewards Program. So we have a rewards program which basically says, hi, I'm a cool person. I have a mixed node, but I'm new. No one is delegating me stake, and the DAO itself can delegate you stake. Okay, so you can get like people behind you, and that gets your node kind of in the active set more often. But you have to like fill out like a little form that says, hey, this is why I'm cool. This is why you should trust me. I'm not the NSA or whatever, and that kind of gets you in the game, so to speak. Now, it's not instant, so you have to wait a few days for people to respond, but it's worth doing. Okay, I thought we did it at 1:30, but I guess
No, they asked us to end it a little bit early because they need time to switch over to the new people.
I mean, people are using the wallet instead of
Yep.
Did the GCC trick work? Okay.
If you're running on one machine, if you're running on one machine and you have
Basically, a dual core CPU is preferred. The requirements, it's mostly just network requirements. Network. You can run it on a relatively bad machine. What matters most is your network connection. Is it reliable? Is it dropping packets? Is it fast? That's the number one thing. The rest is like maybe like, you can run it on a machine with 1 GB of RAM. It doesn't matter. It's okay. No problem.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So maybe a stupid question, but isn't it like encrypting by default the messages, or just sending the messages by mixing them? Is there default encryption on the messages?
There is, yeah, it's encrypting packets using the Sphinx packet format, which is an encryption mechanism specific.